everything that's going on in New York, we have a lot of things to distract us. For a St. John's team to really captivate the city, and I think every week, every win, things begin to grow. Each win, it grows more and more. In the Big East tournament, and I'll be there Thursday at noon when they tip off as the number 1 seed, the regular season champs. They didn't share it. It's theirs. And this team is good. This team is great. I watched Alabama and Auburn play tonight. I saw Houston play tonight. I watched Duke play the other day. There is no reason they can't compete with every single team. All 68 or whatever teams make the tournament. Every single team. They are as legit a title contender as we have in the city. Yes, we expect the Mets to be there. Yes, the Liberty are defending champs. This team is every bit as legit as the defending champ Liberty, as the New York Mets, as a what we perceive to be healthy Yankee team prior to that. I feel more confident about their chances than I do the Knicks' chances when Brunson was healthy. And this team is legit. They're 8-10 deep. They were missing not both, but 2 of their starters. They didn't have Aaron Scott, and they did not have Smith. And they managed to beat, on senior day, on the road, against the Marquette team that's ranked 20th in the nation. They managed to be, I'm wrong. Actually, they did have Aaron Scott. I'm sorry. But they were missing their starting point guard. And they went out there, battled back, went blow for blow, and was able to win the game at the buzzer. And that is special. Every time this team takes this court, there is a chance for a special moment. Led by R.J. Lewis and Zuby Ejiofor, who twice this year, Zuby has hit big shots at the end of games. They're able to play their bench. I was at the UConn game. Kadari Richmond and R.J. Lewis were both battling injuries. They played their bench, and Wilcher got into foul trouble. They played their bench, and they smoked them. The supposed best in the sport coach, Dan Hurley, King Crybaby, got put in his corner. The baby got put in the corner that day, and they ran them out the building. And that was with a deep rotation. This team takes pride in their defensive effort. They take pride in their ball movement. They take pride in their toughness. They are a Rick Pitino team through and through. Great defense, hustle, attack the boards. And yes, they are not the three-point shooting team that, we expect in modern basketball. But they are also not incapable of hitting the three-point shot. I think that we've seen over the last month and a half, them really push to take more three-pointers, to be a better three-point shooting team. I mean, listen, they shoot 30% from the field, but it's not like they're shooting 20%. It's not quite like their free throws, which they shoot 68%. The thing that would concern me is their free throw shooting. Come March Madness, obviously it is March. Become the NCAA tournament, missing free throws is a recipe for disaster. There is nothing else that concerns me about this team. I would say the only games that I don't think they would actually be favored in is Alabama, Auburn, and Duke. Potentially Houston. But they are just as good. They are the same team as Houston. They play great defense. They do everything Houston can do. And I think they are a bit deeper than a Houston. I think they're better than Florida and Tennessee. They are as legit comes in college basketball. And come Monday, don't be shocked if they're sitting in the top 5. The ability for R.J. Lewis to miss that shot at the end of the game, and I wasn't crazy about the shot, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the confidence. The ability for them to miss that shot and instantly, it was like muscle memory. Kadari Richmond with the tip pass, and then I believe it was to Wilcher, and Wilcher was able to get it to Zuby. And they play with a sense of urgency, something we begged the Knicks to do. Maybe when the season's over, Pitino could get hired as a consultant and maybe get the Knicks to play a little bit of defense. The highlight of the season, the Marquette game at the Garden. There's like a 30-second clip. You can find it online where this team is locking down. And that's a Marquette team that's very good. That's a Marquette team coming into the year, I believe, was top 10 in the nation ranked. They were definitely top 25. And it's a clip that stuck with me the whole year, and it's something that gets me excited. In New York, gets us excited. Nothing gets the Garden going like an elite defensive stop. But they ran the ball. They ran the ball down every corner. They were closing out. Nobody was open. Everyone was sliding. Everyone knew their assignment. And it ends with a corner three-point shot that Kadari Richmond puts into the seventh row. This team is scary good. You have a great all-around player in R.J. Lewis. Potential end-of-the-first-round pick. You have Zuby Ejiofor, maybe the best offensive rebounder in the country. And he's also the best big St. John's has had in maybe 20 years. Kadari Richmond, who for 4 years now has been one of the best Big East players. And he's going to go down as an all-time great Big East player with his time at Seton Hall and then with St. John's. Gets the first triple-double. I think it might have been the first road triple-double or the first triple-double against a ranked team in almost forever. I think it was Ron Artest was the last one to have one. And he does everything great. And if this was 20 years ago, he'd probably be a top 10 pick. Gets to the rack, plays great defense, great ball handler, just can't shoot. And then you have Devin Smith, who is as fast comes as an NBA, as a college player. Pitino said he might be the fastest guy he's ever coached. Aaron Scott, glue guy. Simeon Wilcher, a guy I really love. I think out of all these guys, when it comes to that next level, probably is the highest ceiling when it comes to being a pro. And then they get critical minutes from a bunch of guys. Everyone comes into the game and they're ready to play. Ruben Prey has stepped up a lot when he gets in. He doesn't play a lot, but when he comes in, he makes it count. Leo Topoulos, if I nailed that, awesome for me. Pat on the back. The kid from Greece. He played big minutes against UConn, and I was shocked because he was coming off the bench cold, and he did the same today or yesterday. This is so exciting. As someone who has been a college basketball lifer, I grew up, split. My fandom was Seton Hall and St. John's, being, from a family, proud New York family. St. John's was there, and I loved St. John's. And I grew up with Seton Hall season tickets, coworker of my mom's would take me to a lot of games. And then I eventually, for a season, the Darius Lane, Marcus Toniel team. I've loved both of those teams. When I went to St. John's in 2010, I essentially was like, you know what? I am just going to I don't hate Seton Hall. I still root for them, but St. John's has been my team. It's been my team for a long time. LeVar Postel, Anthony Mason Jr., Marcus Hatton, Ron Artest. These were guys I grew up admiring. I was joking with Ray Jarvis, part-time producer on The Fan, before I was coming on air, how growing up, it used to be, it's a lot different now because NIL has made guys stay longer, but guys would stay 3-4 years, and in St. John's bad years, I'd get attached to an Anthony Mason Jr. or a DJ Kennedy. And they weren't that amazing, but for me, these guys were the best. And this is exciting. And kudos to Rick Pitino to understanding the landscape of things. To go on the Jimmy Fallon show, a lot of people were like, oh, he's getting ahead of himself. No, he's playing the game. St. John's is becoming a national brand because of Rick Pitino. It's not just something that your uncle from Brooklyn or your cousin from Queens who's in his 50s is telling you about Chris Mullen. Is telling you about Mark Jackson or Bill Wellington. What was it? Wellington? Where? You know what I'm saying. You know, I don't have to reminisce about Felipe Lopez or Malik Sealy. This is a new era. I said it to Jack Carty, another big St. John's fan. We talked about it off air, how I said Pitino was the total package. You know, I said it to you. I was like, he coaches, he develops, he recruits, he fundraises. He understands what this job entails, and he's still passionate about it. You know, I loved Mullen, and I liked Coach Anderson a lot, but these guys did not have the complete package. He's got the X's and O's. He knows how to develop guys. He knows how to get the best out of guys. He also knows the business side of it. He has to fundraise, and he has to recruit.
Yeah, you said it perfectly, the perfect package. Like, he just knows how to motivate his team. Like, he also, like, when he was on the interview with BT and Sal, even when he was on his interview with Jimmy Fallon, like, he even, like, brings it back, like, guys, like, we've done nothing yet. Like, we are playing well, that's great, but we still got the tournament, we got the Big East, and we got March Madness coming up. Like, we've done nothing. Yeah. And, like, we want to keep this rolling. We want to win as many games as we can. We want to bring back a championship. Like, and, you know, he's just, he has no problem saying, like, we're, listen, we've done nothing. Right, and I'm glad you brought up the BT and Sal interview, which was awesome. It's a great interview. It was awesome. And he is really blunt. They asked him about the free throw shooting. I think it was Sal asked him about the three-point and the free throw shooting. He goes, three-point shooting I'm not worried about. He goes, that's who we are. He goes, we can overcome any of those deficiencies. He's like, the free throw shooting, though, he's like, we could lose in the first round or we could make it to the Final Four. And free throw shooting is something that could cost us. That's a blunt assessment. He made the assessment, too. Like, there's no Chris Mullen on this team. Like, there is no, like, there's not that superstar. Maybe Wiltshire eventually becomes that. This is a bunch of really hardworking guys who will play at the next level. There are a few guys on this team that will play at the next level. But these are a bunch of hardworking kids who go out there, they bust their butt, they leave it all on the court, and they've really bought into this. And you know what another thing was, too? And I want to give a kudos to some other guys last year. You know, Joel Soriano, he had a chance to leave, tuck his tail and leave when Pitino came in here and demanded a lot out of these guys. And I respect that. He gave the kids a chance to leave. And he told them, like, if you want to be here, you have to achieve this. And a guy like Joel Soriano bought in. And I think that bled into guys like Wiltshire, like Dunlap, who are still on the team. You know, some other guys that were here last year as well. Like, it bled into that. And it is exciting time. You know, Zuby Ejiofor was here last year. He played 11 minutes a game, one start. But, you know, you come from Kansas. You don't play a lot. You're coming to St. John's like, why? I just came from Kansas. I can't play a lot. And he was able to buy in. And I think that's the part of, you know, that first group of guys. Joel Soriano, who lost weight and got in shape and tried to be better. And then Zuby seeing that and saying, oh, I need to be that. I need to do that. NIL has been a huge gift to St. John's as well. And I'm hoping, and I'm almost certain that in the future, this will continue to go. I know we got to get to an update, but another thing me and Jack talked about was, I said it to you in the break or earlier in the show, it felt like Mullen, Lavin, Anderson, their best years were not sustainable. Lavin, my first year, it was a team full of seniors and Dwayne Polee, who ended up transferring. So he essentially had an entirely new roster the next year. Yeah. And then he got sick, which is not his fault, obviously, and they fell off. And then his last year there was, a senior-laden class, so we knew that Mullen was coming in with a bare cupboard. He had to rebuild it from scratch. And then his last year with Shamari Pons, it never felt sustainable. This feels sustainable. Next year, I fully expect St. John's to be a top 12 team right off the rip. And that doesn't mean anything. The preseason rankings mean nothing. But it's about respect, and it's about where the program is. And this is just the start. Thursday is a special day. They are going to be the favorites, the 1 seed in the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden. I am fired up. 888-808-1019.